Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to City Skylines 2, and welcome for the first time to Columbia County. This is a new series where we're starting a new city. I'm going to be applying everything that I've learned in the year since I first started playing City Skylines 2. That's kind of scary to say out loud. We've talked about it a little bit. We'll talk about the year anniversary of City Skylines 2 a little bit more later this month. But here's what you might want to know about what we're going to be doing, or what we're going to be starting today. The map that we're going to be building on is Willamette River, which is a tributary of the Columbia River in Oregon in the United States. The map is made by Sandman 6700, and I love how it looks. It's pretty flat, I'm going to be honest, but it does something that I've been looking for a while that I know a lot of custom maps do. It has the land down there by the water. You don't have these huge drops where the land ends and the river begins way down there. So we can do some stuff with the rivers somewhere down the line without having these, 100-foot high key walls. The map also features a whole bunch of surfaces that are designed to make this look like a huge farming community, a huge farming region. These are they're for aesthetics though. They don't actually function, although I do want to get some decent farms in here. I'd like to get some decent industry in here, but that's not really my overall goal for this city. So with my first city, I was just throwing things at the wall to see what would stick. Now, that's not to say I'm not going to do that with this series. That's not at all what I'm getting at, but I want to take things slower. I want to be more thoughtful. I want to do a little bit of detailing here and there. Nothing too crazy, nothing too fancy, but just a little bit here and there. In this episode, we're going to be detailing a little elementary school. And in the next episode, which I realize the first one hasn't even properly started yet, but yeah, we're going to talk about the next one for a second. I'll be detailing the area around that, as well as a little police department and expanding things even further. So yes, I'm in this one for the long haul. I'm excited to jump into Columbia County and really get things started. If you've got any suggestions for things you would like to see built out here, if you happen to be from Oregon and have an idea of things that have to be on a map that's based on Oregon, do let me know in the comments below. While you're down there, if you happen to enjoy the video, do feel free to leave a like on it. It does help out, I've been told. And if you're new around here, do feel free to subscribe. I've also been told that that means something or other and that it's kind of important on YouTube these days. So there we go. I think that's everything I have to talk about out of the way. Oh, as a note, on the topic of this being based in Oregon, I will do a little bit of research every now and then, but I am by no means trying to recreate anything in real life. This is not an attempt at remaking the area around the Willamette River. I just really like the landscape, okay? Just so we're clear, I'm not trying to recreate anything. Just want to get that out of the way right away. Now that we've cleared that up, let's get to it. So I suppose with introductions out of the way, it's time to get started building a new city. Now, I've got to be honest, I really don't know much about Oregon. I don't really know anything about the Willamette River or Valley or the Columbia River that this county takes its name from, the Willamette being a tributary of the Columbia River. I know that much, but I really don't know much else. So if you're from that space, feel free to let me know in the comments. Just be aware that this is not going to be a recreation. I just really like the landscape, and I like the idea of playing around with farms quite a little bit, and that's probably something we're going to do today, but not before we come down here and we get ourselves a little power connection. So the way I'm thinking we'll do this is we're just going to get ourselves a little gravel road, and it's going to live right about here. And on that gravel road, we're going to get ourselves a transformer station, and it's going to live, well, actually, I think it's going to live, say, yeah, up here for the time being. We'll connect it to the power grid, a little something like this. And then what I can do is I can get these electrical cables, and my hope here is to basically just sort of bring them around a little something like this. So we're going to go the entire way along this road, and I'm going to try my best to curve around this road as well. and we're going to come all the way down to about here. Now, something I'd like to do is put a little farm in this space. All of the farmland that you can see on this map so far, it's actually just a surface. I could go in here and I could bulldoze it pretty much instantly if I wanted all of that to go away, which obviously I don't. So what I think I'll probably do is at some point, I'm going to use the surfaces tool, which is in one of these categories somewhere. There it is, surfaces right there. And my hope at the very least is that I might be able to just sort of move this around. So yeah, we can absolutely do that. We just can't do it right now. But my plan would be to sort of move this around and then create my own little farm in that space so it seems seamless. We just can't do that right now because we don't happen to have farms unlocked. So we shall begin the way we usually do, which is going to be with a road. And I'm thinking we're going to go, honestly, right about here. Seems pretty good. I'm going to go something like 56 meters. And I'm going 56 meters for a specific reason, because I want to go another 56 right here. And I want to go 56 that way. And the reason I'm going that far is because that should be 112 right there, which is about enough for us to get back-to-back buildings. Now, I don't actually know that I want back-to-back buildings. I was kind of thinking that I might go for slightly smaller grid spaces. So this would essentially give us 12 tiles from this road to that road, so we can have the full 6x6 buildings back-to-back. But looking at the space we have to build in here, and considering we're really getting started today, and I'm kind of not wanting to go too crazy with things, I think what I might do instead is come down here. We'll do a little road like this. We'll go 64 is what we'll go. And we'll just do this. We'll just connect these guys together. We'll keep it simple. We'll keep it basic. We'll not get carried away. And we'll do 64 right here as well. We can turn off guidelines. We'll do this. We can connect these guys together. And yes, that does give us 6 tiles up to this little regional road, but I'm not really super worried about that because my thinking is I'm not going to use all of them. And also I can maybe do some trees along the backs of some buildings. And maybe if this ever gets upgraded into a wider road, then we don't have to worry about bulldozing whatever's in here. So I didn't really measure this out. I don't know what kind of space we're working with here, but I think what I'll do, just because I can, is keep these grids a little bit smaller. So if that is going to be 12, that would be 11, that would be 10, that would be 9, right? Yes, it would, which I'm completely fine with. So I'm going to go with 9 between these two roads. I also want the grids over here to be just that little bit more perfect. There we go. That looks like a wider gap in there, doesn't it? That doesn't, why? Yeah, they are slightly off. How did that happen? How have I done this already? How have I already messed up my grid? Oh, that's embarrassing. Okay, we'll go right back to basics here. We're going to do that again. So that's actually quite embarrassing. We'll go something like this. We're going to go, I don't remember exactly what the distance was here. So that's 12, that's 11, that's 10, that's 9, so it's 88 meters. And we are just going to go, I don't know. That's really thrown me off a little bit. I'm not going to lie. Let's do this in little stretches of 88 right here. So that's 88 right there. That's another. We'll do one more up to about there. And then we want to bring this straight down and hope that it actually connects properly. We want to do the same thing here at 88 meters and right there. That all lines up properly, which is what we're looking for. That's perfect. Now, something I'd like to do is a little node right there and a little node right there, because I want to use an asymmetrical road. So we have 2 lanes going out to the region. We have 2 coming in here. We'll do the same on this side, same on that side. Bulldoze you and bulldoze you. And that just gives us a little bit more control over the traffic. Obviously, these roads, they're not huge, but that's totally okay. Something else I'd like to do is maybe play around with this alley, because what we can do is use it to separate whatever we build in here. So if I bring an alleyway right through the middle, I can use something like this, the zoning toolkit, to basically just update that alleyway so that nothing's actually going to build on it. It's just going to be a way for people to get between these buildings if that's something that they want to do. And if I really wanted to, I could reasonably go in here and just put another little road in the middle, which I think that is. So that is $160. That is 100 and wait, what's the price on that? It's not going to tell me. You know what? I'm going to assume that's the middle. I really don't know if it is. Let me do some measuring. 176 and 176. Look at that. There we go. Okay. So that should be pretty solid. Let me just double check that this little thing here does not have any zoning on it, which I don't think it does, but I just wanted to make sure. And this will be a start. This is totally fine. This is exactly what I'm looking for. Just a tiny little space that we can play with. And I'd also like to make sure that it does have a power connection before we get too carried away. So obviously it kind of currently doesn't because of how these power lines are set up. So I think what I'm going to do is just go underground and I'm just going to connect it like this. In fact, can I just bring it into the middle of the road, bring it down to here and then connect it like this? Yes, I absolutely can, which I think is a little bit better. So it goes off of that power pylon, that little power pole or whatever we're calling it. We'll do the same thing at this side just so we have a little bit of, I don't want to say redundancy, but just so we have that connection. And then I guess we need to, well, we don't need a power source, but we're going to need a water source. And we're also going to need to get ourselves some sewage. So I think what I'm going to do is very quickly build myself just a little sort of square thing somewhere where I can maybe put some kind of water tower. So let's do this again. Let's come through here. We'll go to 88. We're going to come right over to here and straight down like this, which I totally forgot to re-enable zoning for. So let's just very quickly go ahead and get zoning back on all of these guys because I do want that to be a thing. And then this little space in here, I'm kind of thinking we can maybe do a water tower. So if I go to my alleyways and I bring them through, our midpoint's going to be slightly tricky, but something like that should be fine. We're going to need a water tower, which I'm thinking the big one here is maybe the coal. This thing is, what is it? It is 4x4. That's kind of perfect, actually. So if I can get myself just a little, well, I can't really get a 4x4 square in here. It's going to be 4x5, which is really unfortunate, but I guess I can make that work. I can probably use move it to get this thing in here, or I can use the small water tower, which honestly I'm not against, but this one I just think looks so much better. So let's enable anarchy. Let's put it there. And you know what? That's really not too bad, but I think we can just sort of shuffle it down. Oh, it's got that path underneath it though. Can I be a little bit, oh no, actually, that's pretty solid. Let's bring it down a little bit further. We'll try and get it to be sort of central, or at least as central as we can. And honestly, I'm okay with that. I don't know if it makes any sense. I don't know if it should be there. It maybe shouldn't, but I kind of like it. So you know what? That's where the water tower is going to live. It is going to need, well, we have pipes underneath everything. It is connected to the roads, which is great. So I guess all we need to do is a little sewage outlet. We'll put it up here, which I think there is a surface at the edge of this river. So I'm going to be careful and keep anarchy on so as to not get rid of it. But we'll put the sewage outlet right about there. Maybe use a little bit of move it just to sort of bring it back so it's not ruining the sides of the river. And then all I should need to do is a very simple sewage pipe. And honestly, I think it's going to go, well, I don't know where I want it to go. I think I'm actually going to bring it sort of this way so I can kind of bring it around everything for now and just connect it to that intersection. And that should now be about everything we need to get this place going. So let's have a look at the wind overlay. Wind is going from left to right. That's going to complicate things. That's definitely going to complicate things in terms of industry. Ooh, hadn't thought about that. Okay. Well, before we do any zoning, let's figure that out, I guess. I suppose what we can do here is give ourselves another, let's just do a little, in fact, let's go up to, let's do a 112 right here. So we'll go the full distance that way. We'll do another 112 right here. We'll do this. And we'll do something like this. Now, I don't really want it to line up like that. I need, I need this to stop snapping to things is what I need it to do. So I need my angles, and I'm going to need my zoning cell length. So I get my 88, which is right there. And that should be fine. That should be totally fine. That should be enough for some industry. I'm not really sure what's going on here or why that zoning is getting kind of weird, but you know what? It's not the end of the world. That should be all right for industry. It doesn't totally ruin everything else. So let's go in here and let's have a look and see what we can do. So actually, you know what we need to do? We need to make sure that this is all set to not have any zoning on it whatsoever, so that nothing builds on those alleyways. And then now we should be able to build in here. So I think what I'll do is, I forgot to turn it off on these roads as well. I think what we'll do is turn it off on you and you. We'll turn it off on you and you. Then we don't have to worry about this guy. Now we can do some zoning. So let's just get a bunch of, residential up to about that spot. And they are going to be little 4x4 things and 2x4 things. I'm kind of okay with that. We're going to do a bunch of residential in here as well. And I'm going to do a bunch of residential right in here. And that should keep us pretty good. We're going to need some commercial zoning. So let's do a little bit of commercial, say, in this space as a bit of a buffer between what is inevitably going to be a whole bunch of industrial zoning. And we are going to need industrial zoning. So wait, do I have... Oh, wait, no, I don't have vegetable farming right now. I do have grain farming, though, which... You know what? We might want to do something with that shortly. Now that I think about it, I forgot that you start with that, but that's actually going to be really good. Let's do some industry. That is something we're going to need. So I guess, do I want to continue that through here? I might have to do that, but I think what we'll do is this and this for now. I think we probably will continue those little alleyways through here, but we'll do something like this for the time being. And then down here, I mean, this isn't going to build, so we'll just D-zone you. And as for the rest of it, you know what? We'll do a little something across there as well, just to fill out that space. Just because we do have that demand and we do want to deal with it, that should be pretty good. Now, I should probably talk about what my kind of goal is right here. I really like the look of this map. I love that there's little regional roads going everywhere. And I love that we have little spaces like this that could be sort of a little villagey looking thing. I love that we have a lot of empty space to play with. I want to try and avoid taking over too many of the farms, and I want to have just little pockets of things everywhere. So I want buses going around this map as much as I possibly can. There's no train connections right now, and that is something we'll probably get in here at some point once we start getting the map tiles and expanding out to the edges of the region. But buses and public transport, that kind of thing, that's something I want to play with a little bit, and I want to have some fun with this. I will say, this isn't going to be a super creatively focused series. It's not going to be back to basics, just playing Cities Skylines the way we did just over a year ago. I have learned some things since then, so I'm kind of taking it a little bit slower. I'm going a little smaller in scale because I know once the game gets up to 100,000 people, it falls apart. I am in no rush at all to get to 100,000 people. Is that one lot? That is one lot. You know what? I've just hold on a minute. hold on a minute. Let's just change that up a little bit. No one's building in this middle road here either, because that's gonna be a little bit silly. I don't want anyone building in those roads. I want some smaller. Nope. I don't know what. Okay, you know what? You're really starting to get my nerves. No, I don't want you building there. That is. Why are you building there? That's really not what I'm looking for. That's still not. Okay, you know what? Let's get rid of you completely. We'll just let everything else build for a second. We'll go back in here. And you know what? Just because you're annoying me, you're going to be waterfront housing and waterfront housing. Oh my God. They're still facing. Okay. I don't know if this road has zoning or not. That's kind of the problem that I'm having here. So yeah, you know what we'll do? We'll just do that. There we go. We'll get rid of it. And then I'll just replace it and everything should be fine. So let me turn this back on, bring that down through there. That should keep us good. Oh, you guys built on that road as well. Oh, it's not what I'm looking for. That is not what I'm looking for. I don't mind you because you're a commercial lot, but well, Are you a commercial lot? You are a commercial lot. Okay. Yeah, you know what? Let's just go in and make sure that you don't have zoning either. In fact, you guys can all get rid of it. And then you are all building the way I want you to. There we go. Was that so hard? Was that apparently it was. For me, anyway. All right. I'll tell you what we'll do. We still have pretty good demand for just about everything. So let's fill something like that space with a little bit more residential. We'll use the waterfront housing again, just because it's kind of interesting. And then over here, we'll kind of do exactly the same thing. We should have some little buildings that can kind of fit into these spaces. They're not really behaving all too well, so let me try. There we go. That's a little bit better. A bit of a bigger lot right there as well. Dealing with a lot, if not all, of that commercial demand, which is fantastic. We'll do some regular housing right here. We'll go for a couple of varying sizes just across the board, just to bring that residential demand down a little bit. And we do want to try and get through these milestones as quickly as we possibly can. So here's hoping we can figure that out. And here's hoping we can we can manage to do that, because I want buses. I could, if I wanted to, I could use Find It, and I could search for the bus depot, and I could get some bus routes immediately. I want to try and avoid doing that. I really want to try and avoid doing that right now. That feels a little bit too cheesy. It feels a little bit too cheaty. So we're going to try and avoid using Find It right now for all that kind of stuff. I will say, we have this huge amount of residential demand, so let's just... Do I want to expand this further? What was the distance in this whole thing? Let me get my guidelines. So if we go from here to there, that is 352. Okay. I guess with that in mind, let's go 352 out this way. So 352 right there. If this comes straight down, that'll line up with the ghosting in some of those cars is insane. We'll bring this down. It'll line up right about there. It doesn't have any zoning capacity right now, so we'll go ahead and enable that. And I really want to have my my little asymmetrical roads here have a decent purpose, but I think we just need to expand this a little bit further. We'll go in and get our alleyways. We'll turn off zoning, and we're just going to go straight through here. We're going to go straight through here. And I'm kind of just doing this. Oh, we are very close to becoming whatever it is, a tiny village, which doesn't really give us all that much. It does give us row housing though, which I'm actually very excited about. Also gives us medical care, gives us garbage management as well. We're going to need a landfill of some sort. Kind of excited for the row houses though. I think replacing some of these guys immediately is going to be a pretty good shout. And there we go. That's good. We got an extra $25,000. We got some expansion permits. Let's have a little look in here and see what we can do. Now, roundabouts might be kind of cool, but I think things like maintenance facilities, traffic lights, roadside decorations, signs, I think that's probably a bit more important. Emergency battery station, I don't think we need. I don't know. A crematorium. Now, that's something we might need a little sooner than later. We only have one development point, so I might hold on to it. I suppose we don't need trees at the sides of the roads right now. The crematorium would save on us having to build a big old graveyard though. So we'll get the crematorium right away. And I think what I'm going to do, since we have got that medium demand for residential zoning, let's go in here. And like I said, let's just immediately start tearing some of these guys out and replacing them with something a little bit more dense that I think is just going to look better in this space anyway. So we'll go for some row houses in there. This is a North American themed map, obviously. It's based on Willamette River in Oregon, so of course it absolutely would be. Let me make sure you guys are building the way I want you to, which you are. I'm going to have to turn off zoning on all of these guys as well. That's really disappointing, but it's kind of where we're at. So let's do, oh man, hold on. We need to get a little node right there in the middle. We need 2 lanes going in, 2 lanes going out. Get rid of you. There we go. So that gives us that little bit of extra control for the traffic. And I realize, in theory, with these alleyways, I can kind of do that the entire way down here, which I'm kind of here for, actually. That kind of gives me a little bit more control over what the traffic's doing. And I'm kind of here for that. So bring you down, bring you up that way, bring you down here, bring you up that way. And then over here, we can kind of do the same thing. 2 going up, 2 going down, 2 going up, 2 going down. That actually works out so much better than it has any right to. It's maybe a little bit overkill for 74 people. We have 74 people here. Okay. Yeah, that's maybe a little bit much, but you know what? It's fine. It's going to expand and it's going to be exciting. So that's the plan. We did just unlock vegetable farming though. And I do know that this whole space is fertile. So I actually kind of want to play with this. So what I'm going to do, this is kind of why this power pole came to this specific spot. What I'm going to do is get myself a gravel road and I'm going to have it snap to this grid, I think. Now, unfortunately, that doesn't really line up all that nicely with the surface that we have, but honestly, I think that's okay. We'll have it go there. This power pole, I'm going to bring back a little bit, and I'm going to just sort of extend it again. So it's going to go from the power pole itself. It is going to go right to that corner and then right along that road, because I think that's the right thing to do. And then basically, I just need to move this entire surface. So we'll put a node on the surface right there. We're going to put a node on the surface right there. We're going to grab this existing node and just sort of drag it way back, and then drag you sort of way back as well. And I'm just going to put a farm in here and have it sort of match the existing farm. I'm not really, or the existing surface is kind of my idea here. So we'll do something like that should be fine. This little node right here can kind of go away. This little node right here can kind of go away. And then you just need to kind of line up with what I've done elsewhere. So this corner needs to sort of give me 90 degrees down there by the road, which it now does. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. Obviously, it looks a little silly right now, but my plan would be to turn off anarchy. Well, turn on anarchy because we have some stuff in the way here, and just sort of bring this way down here. So just give us an old road that goes all the way down to where we're going to build a farm. And I'm just going to put a farm down here because I figure why not? I didn't really play with industry super quickly in some of my first runs of Cities Skylines II. So I figured this time around we probably should. We got a bit of zoning right there. That should be great. We will get our little, what is it? Vegetable farming, or is it grain farming? Which one do I want to go for? I don't know if it matters. I really don't know if it matters. Let's do vegetables. We just unlocked it, so we'll do vegetables. And in terms of the nodes, I mean, this is going to be a little bit chaotic, I think, but we'll go right out to here. We'll go right out to here. We'll go all the way down to the edge of the highway road. We'll come right down to about here. And I somehow need this to line up in a way that's not going to be terrible looking. Wait, how does this work? Hold on a minute. What have I just done? There we go. All right, so that's going to maybe go the other way. maybe it goes this way first so that it actually sort of makes sense. So all the way down to about there. It is going to go all the way down to about there, right down this way, down to about, I want to say there, and then connect it back up like that. And there we go. That gives us a farm that is hopefully going to be functional once I get some things in there. But first, I would like to just tidy this up a little bit. So this surface, I'm going to have a little bit of a gap between it and this new farm. So what we want is this to kind of come out about that far so that we have that little bit of grass showing through. We're going to do the same thing down here, and we are going to do the same thing all the way down here as well. So right to about there should be good. That does give us that outline, which is perfect. What I'm thinking is I can just put some trees around that. And what I'm also thinking is I might change the layout on this ever so slightly. That might not be a terrible idea. Just bring this up to be in line there instead, and bring you to about there instead. And then maybe that road can continue. I don't really know if it matters. I might just put some trees in there. I'm really not too sure. But that's kind of what I'm looking for. That's kind of what we're going for. Let us just get some pipes that can run underneath everything. So down to about here should be great. I think that's all connected. At least it looks like it's connected. Do you guys have water? You do. You've got power as well, which is great. Let me bring my little power poles out to this thing, because even though they're not needed, I think it's a good look to have the power poles running right down to the farmhouse. I think it looks the part, which is what we're going for. And so you're losing money, and generally the city, we are losing money, which is fine. But if we can get this to be a bit more efficient, that'd be great. We just need more employees, which we can totally do. We need some people that are educated. We need quite a few uneducated people, but yeah, that'll be totally fine. We can 100% make that work. Anyway, you guys are complaining about death care. That makes sense. That absolutely makes sense. So how do we want to deal with that? A crematorium is probably the right call. Let's be honest here. It is 100% going to be the right call. It annoyingly isn't going to fit in one of my little blocks here, but I suppose that's fine. Unless I just give it its own dedicated space already, but I don't know that I want to do that yet. I'm really not too sure if it needs its own dedicated space yet, although we have got over here, which is relatively close to our water tower, which is kind of the middle of town right now, which kind of has no structure right now. So you know what? Let's just put it in here, I guess. This is kind of where it's going to go. It's not really it's not a very dignified place for a crematorium, but it will absolutely do the job. So get rid of you. Crematorium is going to live, I guess, right about, it could go in the alleyway as well if I wanted it to, but I think it's going to live right about there. And I think that's just going to have to be, how it is, unfortunately. I don't love that it's right there, but it's needed. It really, really is. We also probably want to look at getting some actual little medical clinics in here. We do have the small medical clinic, which also somewhat unfortunately doesn't really fit inside my my planned space here. It does, though, to be fair, it does fit in here, which I'm kind of okay with. So maybe that's what we do. It also keeps trying to snap to these roads that don't have any zoning, which is really, really frustrating, but I'm kind of okay with that. I think it's going to have to go on one of those. So what I think we'll do is, I guess, just put it over here so that it behaves. It's a little bit far away from everyone though, but I think that's what we'll do. We'll put it here. That'll be fine. That'll get them some healthcare. That'll hopefully stop people from complaining. That'll hopefully keep them happy. And I suppose, given that we have a lot of demand for residential zoning, let me make sure that none of these roads have any zoning capacity or capabilities. Same with all of these guys, and same with these little alleyways. And then we'll go through, we'll get ourselves some zoning. We'll say that I think a decent chunk of this can be some, in fact, you know what? We don't have any commercial zoning or demand, but we'll do a little bit of commercial right here. We'll do some row houses kind of behind it and next to it. We'll do a little bit of commercial, say here, and we'll do some row houses in, that's not really what I was looking for. Get rid of you. A little bit of commercial right about there, just to fill up the space. And then down this way, honestly, I'm thinking a little bit of commercial as well. Just right across here, just to be a little bit different. And that'll come in when it comes in. Some of these smaller row houses, just need to get rid of those because I want them to be full size. That also really didn't do much for that medium density demand. That is still very much there. So I'll tell you what, let's deal with the low density demand while we're at it. We'll do, I'm going to say a couple of row houses to about there. And we'll go for some waterfront housing just to fill in this space. Get rid of you so you're, the proper size. And I think we'll do a little bit of commercial in front of the medical center, the little medical clinic. We'll do some row houses next to those. We'll do some row houses kind of behind them. And again, getting rid of the little small ones because that's not what we're looking for. But hopefully this will push the population up a little bit. I mean, it will objectively push the population up a little bit. Also, I really enjoy saying push the population. It's a really, really fun bit of alliteration right there. But that should be fine. It should be a nice little mix of the different zoning types. We got these guys coming in down here, and they look pretty good. I do like the North American row houses. They're not bad. I mean, they're all pretty much the same building right now, but you know what? That's okay. That's not something I mind too much. I'm also really enjoying the, I am actually really enjoying the little alleyways going back here. These would be better if they had fences around the back, because then these would look a little bit more like alleyways rather than just sort of whatever they are right now. But it's not so bad. I also forgot that most of these aren't trailers. That's not what you call these. They're like bungalows, I think. I don't know what you call these things. They kind of look like from where I'm from, these are basically, they're mobile homes. They're like caravans, but they're the big ones that get loaded onto like a truck. I'm pretty sure that's, I don't know. I really don't know. So I'm gonna stop talking before I, get that completely wrong and start getting, confidently incorrect about what types of houses those are, because that is absolutely liable to happen, and I would like to avoid that happening. All right, so we still have a good amount of medium density demand. Let's do some row houses here. Get rid of the little stumpy ones. We'll do some row houses back here. And do we have any stumpy ones? We do not, but we also look to have very minimal demand for them right now, which is not a bad thing. So clear those two out, get rid of the stumpy ones because we really don't want them. And that has cleared out most of that demand. So let's go through and fill the rest of this in with some low density housing and see if we can take that demand down, which we absolutely can. And we have milestone 2. Which is great. So if we look at progression, that gives us the production panel, it gives us medium density housing, it gives us education, which I'm very excited about. We are looking to be a grand village. That is kind of my goal because it gets me transportation, but that's all right. How are you doing? Do you have employees? You do. 104% efficiency. That is fantastic. We are still losing money though, which is slightly problematic. Let's see. So when it comes to materials, we are producing 9.8 tons. We have 9.8 tons of surplus, which I guess is going towards exports, I would assume. That's kind of what I'm guessing is going on there. So sure. I have no idea if we're actually making money from exporting anything right now. I'm kind of inclined to say that we are probably not, but you know what? It's totally fine. I'm not super worried about it. I'm pretty sure there are panels that I can look at to find out if I'm making money from exporting stuff, but you know what? We're not losing that much. So it really shouldn't be too much of a problem. Let's, I suppose, have a little bit of a look at getting just a couple of little services in here. We also have this entire section of road that has no zoning available. So I'll tell you what we'll do. Because we're going to need education, and because we're going to need expanded healthcare, and we do need to start dealing with garbage, we have got this landfill right here that's going to have to go somewhere, and it's huge, annoyingly. Oh, it really is. It really is quite huge. Let me have a look at these map tiles real quick. So you start with this cluster right here. I suppose if I was to grab myself a few over here, I could put a landfill way down that way, but I would have to run a road to it, which I'd like to avoid doing. I could grab these two. Well, I could grab this. No, I'd need to grab these 3 and put a landfill sort of in that space. That might be what I do though. So those 3 tiles right there, which would give me access to, in fact, I don't even need that one. Just those 2 so that I have access to this little regional road right here would let me put a landfill in that little farming spot. So it's way out of the way. I think that's what we'll do. Let's grab that. We are at negative 4,800 per hour. That's totally fine. We have the space that I can play with. We will set up a landfill there shortly. Just when it comes to all of this, I suppose we really should look at getting education in here. So what I think we'll do is try and get ourselves a little something in here. I'd like to sort of go at a bit of an angle. So this is going to be, if that's 56, that's half of it. I want 40. I mean, it's 88 that I've been going this entire time. Half of that would be 44. I don't think I can get 44, unfortunately, unless I turn off the snapping. No, I can get 48, which I think is going to be good enough. So 48 right that way and 48 that way. This should be a 45-degree angle, which it totally is. take those guys out, and we'll just bring this in sort of a, man, I don't know what kind of thing I'm building here. I gotta be honest. really, I'm not too sure what I'm building, but we'll go for it, is what we'll do. We'll build this a little bit further. That way we will turn on our zoning so I can see what we're doing. And then what I'd like to do is come down this way. I want to go to my usual 88, and I want to go 88 to here. Now, unfortunately, this is not going to line up exactly how I would want it to. So this guy is going to come straight out, and this guy is going to go straight through there. So right to about that spot, cut you. And it's not perfect. It really, it really isn't perfect, but that's totally okay. We'll bring this down 88 right there. We'll go the entire way that way. We will bring you straight out to there, cut off the excess, and I can live with that. I can totally live with that. What I might even do is replace this road with one that kind of goes through all of these corners so it looks a bit more interesting. But I just want to put something in here that's not the same, the same grid, you know? I wanted something a little bit different. And I think what I can even do is I can still get my alleyways through here, which I'm very much excited about doing. So bring this guy down here, bring this guy down. Ooh, that one might be a little bit tricky, but we'll see. I can totally bring it through, which is great. That might be a bit of anarchy doing some heavy lifting right there. I think that's kind of what's going on with that one. But you know what? It's all right. We'll bring you straight through here. And that seems fine. I am actually kind of okay with that. It's it's far from perfect, but you know, it's fine. It's good enough is what it is. And at this point, I think good enough is good enough. So let me see what I can do with a small elementary school. It sort of fits in here a little bit. The regular one, also kind of, but I think the small one is what I'm looking for. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bring this guy right down here. We're going to go 352. We're going to come down and connect right like this. And that just gives us this weird little space that I can play with. And the reason I want this little space in here is because I can maybe just put my elementary school kind of in there. And I think that'd be kind of cool. So let me take you out. Let me do something like this. Let me take you back out and we'll do something like this, just so they intersect really nicely. And it just gives us this weird little triangle that I can work with. And then this little small elementary school kind of just fits right on that corner, which is what I'm looking for. And I think it looks all right. It really does. It kind of fit in there really, really nicely. Although I'm curious, could I rotate you and put you that way? I totally could. Which is, I think, where I want it to be. So this is kind of somewhere I think I should do a little bit of detailing. Do I have parking available right now? I definitely don't think I do. Do I have parks available right now? I definitely do not. Do I have landscaping available right now? I definitely do. So I think my plan here is going to be to just get a little something here. Nothing, I'm going to say it, nothing too crazy and nothing too fancy, but we could go in here and we could just do, I mean, I could go and do networks. I could do paths. We could do proper fences around this. It's very tempting to do that. We have got, I think, net lanes right here. We have got fence net lanes. And you know what? I've got to be honest. I think actually doing a fence net lane around this probably does make sense. So we'll go for this, which I think is a pretty good looking wooden fence. So yeah, that's 100% what we'll do. We'll go down to here. We'll go the entire way down to this corner. And I think that's about all I really want to do. I don't think I need to line the entire thing. I think this front part could maybe have, probably have a little, are they the same color? I think those are different colored fences, but you know what? I'm probably not going to look at it all that closely in the near future. So that is totally fine. This space right here, I sort of want to do parking next to it, which would involve coming in here and doing a little something with these guys because we don't have parking available right now. Do I want to do this early? Do I feel like doing this right now? There's never going to be enough parking for this this size of facility. That's the thing. I would I really can't believe I'm considering this already. Man, it feels silly to be considering doing a large sort of parking thing here, but I think honestly we will. So we'll do that. We'll get ourselves a little road that continues through here, and that's going to connect to that end of the parking lot. We'll have this alleyway sort of continue down this way, and I think that'll continue to that end of the parking lot, which should give it a connection. We can get rid of you, and I'm almost tempted to move this over just a little bit so that it's closer to the alleyway, so I can maybe do some trees kind of in between everything. So we'll do this. And it does seem really silly to be doing this already, but I think we need some parking. I think it's going to be important, so that's kind of what we're going for. And I'd also like to grab that bush and see if I can't just continue it down that entire little stretch right there. So from about here, we want to bring these much closer together. So about, I think 2 meters should be solid, right to about there. And on the other side, I don't think we need to worry about it. We don't need to worry about it out back. We do have a really nice grass surface underneath those bushes. So if I could grab that and just bring it out to about that spot and just bring it out to about that spot, that kind of nicely continues. And I'm almost tempted to say that same surface can probably just continue to there as well. So we have that nicely manicured grass, and we'll do the same thing at the back here as well. We'll start from here. We'll go to this side because that's going to give us the same direction as the other section of grass. And you know what? That looks all right. We'll put some trees in that shortly. We do need to get some surfaces in here as well. So let me very quickly get myself some, oh, I forgot how much concrete I've got now. We've got Sully's concrete in here as well. I think we want, I actually don't know what we want. We might want just the regular pavement is maybe what I'm looking for right now. Let's go around this and have a look and see if the regular pavement is in fact what I'm looking for. I might be wrong in this one, but it really might not matter too much. We'll just do a little something like that. And honestly, that's fine. That's totally okay. Let's go in here with some grass as well. And you know what? We're going to do the same old manicured grass that we did over on the other side as well. Remember when I said I wasn't going to spend too much time detailing with this this particular city? Yeah. How long did that last? 20 minutes? Was that see if you, I don't know, you know what? I'm not going to say rewind the video and find when I said that and kind of figure out just how long it took me to go back on my word. But if you do want to do that, feel free. And I don't know, first person that I see do that, I'll pin your comment or something. I don't know. I really typically don't encourage being like, oh yeah, do this and I'll like your comment or something, but feel free if you want. And there we go. We have ourselves a small elementary school. I could recolor this. I honestly might recolor this because we have got a lot of orange going on back here, and then the building itself is this sort of yellow brick color. So maybe it would be a bit of an idea to go for more of a, what about a red brick on this? Maybe a little bit less saturation, and then the rest of it, what is that? The roof, I would assume? Yeah, that's gonna be staying a little something like that. And then this is, I'm assuming, gonna be the frames of the, oh no, it's the frame of the building. Okay. That is gonna stay a really solid white, and I think that's just gonna be the little change that we make to the small elementary school. So that's hopefully gonna help us out a little bit. We did, just by the way, happen to hit milestone 3 while I was putting that together, which gives us fire and rescue. It gives us small police stations as well. But I think what I'm gonna do, just while we're here, is, we have these 5 development points. I want advanced road surfaces. I sort of want parking, but I might just play around with doing custom parking lots because, I mean, I don't think we're going to need that much parking all that quickly. So I think we can get away with not doing parking right now. I don't think we need roundabouts just yet. And then in terms of power, we're kind of doing okay. Healthcare is okay. The recycling center, I think, is going to be important. I think that's something we're going to want to get our hands on. And then for everything else, I think we're doing all right. The welfare office would be good eventually, but we're going to hold off because I just don't think we need it. And honestly, the only change I'd like to make, now that we've unlocked a few things, is I'd like to go in here and I'd like to put a crossing right in the middle of this street. I don't think it's going to let me though, which is really unfortunate. What I will do is just put grass on either side of that street. No one really needs to be parking sort of directly around the elementary school. There is parking directly across from it. So I think we can get away with doing that. And I think I just noticed this zoning isn't really perfect, and that's really, really bothering me. But you know what? We're not going to worry about it. I think I'm going to put some trees sort of around the far side of this thing so that they're not right up against it. And honestly, I think this will look pretty good when it comes together. We have got a lot of people walking over to it, which is great. I know there's some mods to encourage people to use cars a little bit more these days. I might look into that, but I think just before we move to wrap things up for today, I'm going to just turn off a whole bunch of traffic lights because we have a lot of them right next to these alleyways, and I just don't think we need them. I just don't really think they're necessary. So let's just make sure they're turned off when it comes to the alleyways, which I think they all are now. I don't think we have any down here. I don't think we need them for the highways either, but we'll keep them just for the time being. There's none here either, which is great news. So I think that puts us in a pretty good spot. I realized that by building this elementary school, I don't think I can bring my, oh no, I probably could still bring my diagonal road right down through here if I wanted to. But you know what? Just for the time being, let me go in here, and I really don't want to do medium density housing right now. I think that would be kind of silly, but we don't have a lot of demand for commercial. So let's replace you with some row houses. Let's maybe do the same. You know what? I don't really want to do the same in there. We'll just get some new row houses in here. That'll boost the population just that little bit. And you know what? The next goal, the next milestone is going to give us that bus depot. And that's what I'm looking for. But I think for today, I'm okay with this as a little bit of a start for the city. I would, just before we wrap things up, I would like to do two little things though. Even though there's a solid chance that this crematorium is not going to be staying put with its current location, I would like to just go in here and do a nice little surface of trimmed grass. And then I'd like to go and just do some bushes right around the edges of this thing. And then a handful of birch trees just to sort of enclose it that little bit more. And then the second thing I'd like to do is a whole lot simpler. I want to come into this space and I just want to put some trees. So we're going to go with hickory trees of a couple of different ages. We'll get some younger ones in here as well. Something a little bit like that. I want to get some oak trees in here as well, just to make this seem that little bit more dense. We'll get some random sort of rotations on these guys as well. We'll get one right there at the end of the road. We'll get one right up here as well, and one right in there. I want to get some birch trees and just dot them through this space as well. And then with just a few trees down this little gravel road, and of course, another net lane, because I did kind of want to hedge along here. And of course, some trees along the regional road as well. I think that's going to do us for today. We are having some crime problems. We are going to have to deal with crime and subsequent punishment in the next episode, though, because that is going to do us for today. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. We are going to need some name suggestions. This is going to end up being its own little town. I will say it's probably going to go through a couple of little phases. I want to start, obviously today is about getting things established, but this is going to become a little town city thing. It'll probably expand down this way and have sort of a little downtown area with higher density buildings eventually, but this is probably about the biggest settlement we're going to have on the map. I don't really want to get too carried away and start, I don't have plans. I just have sort of vague ideas of what this might look like in one way or another. I'm really trying to not get ahead of myself and freak myself out with a project that is much grander in scale than I'm really prepared to deal with. I just want to see what we can do with a different map that really doesn't have the same mountains and stuff that we had to deal with on the first map that we played, which is thus far the only city that I've really built in City Skylines. So this is, as we're getting ready to go into City Skylines Year 2, this is my second city in the game. So we'll take it one episode at a time. We will need suggestions for, I don't know, buildings, schools, for districts, for little towns, for villages, whatever you can think of, leave them in the comments below. But that is going to do us. Thank you so much for watching. It has been an absolute pleasure as always. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.